We are live here at Hallway Field as it is Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse who's about to get going. We have a little bonus lacrosse happening right now as it is the JV squad right now as they are on a timeout, but they have about 6 minutes and 14 seconds left. So we'll have the camera follow them and I'll go over a little bit of pregame. And then we'll let that go. I don't have rosters to be able to do some play-by-play for them. But at this point, it is 11-5 as the Saline Hornets have the lead. Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse is 8-1 on the season. They opened up on the 4th, beating Canton 20-7. Then on the April 8th, they beat Rochester Adams 11-7. On the 9th of April, they beat Skyline 15-2. On the 11th, they beat Huron 13-4. On the 14th of April, they beat the Saline team that we're about to face 9-6. On the 16th of April, their lone loss was a 1-goal win by Temperance Bedford at Temperance Bedford. On the 19th, Pioneer beat Grosse Pointe South by a score of 7-6. On the 23rd, it was Pioneer beating Skyline 14-1, and then the last game back on the 28th, that was 2 days ago, Monday, was Pioneer 15 and Huron 5. So Pioneer having already beat Skyline twice and Huron twice, have won the Ann Arbor crown here for lacrosse and doing a really good job, 8-1. Advancing through the season. They have the game today. Then on May 5th, they will be playing Bedford again. That will be a 7 p.m. game. Bedford is 8-2. Taking a look at our opponent today, the Saline Varsity Lacrosse team is 7-3. On the season. They started off back on March 19th as they beat Northville 8-6. Then on March 21st, they beat Divine Child 9-5. Then they started in April on the 3rd as they beat Salem 10-7. On the 7th, they lost to Temperance Bedford 10-8. But then they bounced back on the 11th, beating Skyline 10-5. On the 14th, it was Pioneer again beating Saline. We know about that, 9-6. On the 16th, Saline really put it on here on 18-1. They lost to Temperance Bedford again. That was their third loss there, the original Temperance Bedford and the one to Pioneer. That was an 11-5 win by Temperance Bedford. Then on the 25th of April, it was Saline 16 and Chelsea 2. On the 28th, Saline beat Skyline 11-3. They have the game today. Then on May 2nd, they will be playing versus Novi, who is 8-0. Then they will play on the 5th versus Huron, who's 2-8. And then on the 7th, they will be playing Dexter, who is 9-2. So Pioneer again ahead as far as the schedules go, but we'll see exactly what that means once the game goes on. If we take a look here at the SEC standings for Michigan, let's see if we can pull up and see our SEC Red standings, if this will pull up for me. Try and open that up again. And we can take a look at our spring and grab boys lacrosse here. You can always go to secstandings.com. That's the Southeastern Conference of Michigan. As we take a look at the SEC Red, as Bedford is 6-0 in SEC Red play. They have the top spot. Pioneer 5-1 in SEC Red play right behind them. So really hoping to get that split that series versus Bedford coming up. Saline is 3-3 in SEC play. Skyline is 2-5, and Huron is 0-7. Over on the white division, it is Dexter who's 6-0. So they'll be playing Saline soon. Tecumseh is in the number 2 spot, 5-2. Chelsea is 3-4. Lincoln is 2-4, and Jackson is 0-6. That's your SEC standings here. We'll turn things over, and I will put up the field mic, and we'll let you enjoy the last 4 minutes, 15 seconds of the JV contest before we head into the varsity game.
Saline goal number 3, Jack Alexander. Scores Hornets 12, Pioneers 5. 3:46 remaining, fourth quarter.
By the way, if you did miss that game versus Huron, CTN was here. You can always check out the CTN YouTube channel to check out Monday's game versus Huron, Pioneer versus Huron from Hallway Field. It's a post hit. This is the JV contest between Pioneer and Saline. Saline up 12-5. We will have the varsity contest happening right after this. So a little bonus lacrosse action. Pioneer trying to close the gap in the game. Game time temperature, it's a brisk 64 degrees. The wind's out. Cloudy sky, and can't find the sun anywhere. So nice gray spring day here. Let's keep our fingers crossed there's no precipitation. .93 seconds left here in the JV contest. Failure to advance. Pioneer gets the ball.
One minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Goal by Pioneer Varsity squad. Pioneer goal number 26, Kyle Brady. Assisted by number 25, Jack Bennett. Scores Saline 12, Pioneer 6. 35 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Varsity squads were practicing, getting warmed up on the main street field as they've now gone into locker
Number
rooms.
9, Corey Dreyer. Scores Saline 13, Pioneer 6. 28 seconds remaining, fourth quarter.
Quick 5-second goal, 5 seconds after the last one by Saline answering back. Keep you at 7-goal game. Seconds remain. The final 12 seconds of the JV match here before we head into the varsity match. They trying to the last score here. 3 seconds left. That will do for the junior varsity match. It is Saline
That was the end of the
by a
game.
score of 16.
Final score is Hornets 13, Pioneers 6.
As the varsity squad heads out onto the field, as Pioneer in their white uniforms with the dark numbers on the back and on the front. They have the white shorts and predominantly all dark helmets out there. Probably will have about 10 minutes or so between the games. We'll stop. We'll play a few messages from the MHSAA, and then we will have the opening face-off for the varsity game between Saline and Pioneer. That's 8-1 Pioneer versus 7-3
Pioneers will take on the Knights from Walled Lake Northern High School here at 5:30.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Power Ratings will be used this year in soccer, basketball, and boys lacrosse to seed the district tournament in those sports, and you can follow along. Visit your school's page on the MHSAA website to see how your team is faring, and you can look at statewide lists as well. And if you see your team is missing a score, submit it. Learn more about the Michigan Power Rankings at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at mhsaa.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the Health and Safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
turn it over for the Pioneer introduction.
Jackson Paul McDonald. Number 1, Wick Tenzin. Number 2, Saline Rest. Number 3, Dakota Ayubi Price. Number 4, Cole Korowski. Number 5, Jet Lodge. Number 6, Eugene Son. Number 7, Anthony Yang. Number 8, Owen Davies. Number 9, Diallo Hooker. Number 11, Nolan Miller. Number 12, Joey Fortin. Number 13, Luke Provenzola. Number 14, Connor Edwards. Number 15, Max Kamuden. Number 16, Jack German. Number 17, Nick Houston. Number 19, Joshua Jacob. Number 20, Cal Grieshaber. Number 21, Will Beaupre. Number 22, Ben Sanders. Number 24, Owen Joffe. Number 25, Evo Saren. Number 26, Lake Edison. Number 31, Aiden Donovan. Number 33, John Garcia. Number 35, Aiden McDonald. Number 44, Craig Newman. Number 69, Jack Reese-Haber. And number 99, Kieran Conley. Assistant coaches for the Pioneers, Nate Uhas, Ron Schmitz. Head coach of the Pioneers is John Conley. O'Neill, Samuel Bianco, and Brian Ettinger. We recognize these who do their best, but being early and active, to demonstrate positivity and respect for all individuals. And now, we'll be back.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. It is a little bit of a chilly, windy day here at Hallway Field. Good crowd on, and game time temperature 63 degrees, but the wind is definitely blowing through Hallway Field here. As we said, it is a cloudy sky out here, and we're getting ready. 8-1 Pioneer taking on 7-3 Saline. So We're expecting a fantastic game between these two squads. JV contest, Saline won that one 13-6. Varsity Pioneer hoping to get the better of them. Saline is in their dark blue tops, their dark blue shorts. They have the numbers in white on the front and back. They do have Saline in script on the front. And they have their Saline helmets that have a little bit of yellow across them. Pioneer again in their white tops, white pants. Numbers in dark purple on the front and back. Pioneer in cursive on the front with that black helmets with the purple on them. It's both squads lined up. The officials have a moment for them, and then going towards the left is Owen Belotti. Over to the right is, of course, Whit Denzen. Ball set right at the blockades as we're getting ready to go. Always a good time when these two teams tangle. As it is, German in to take the face-off on the other side. That does look like Bengal. This ball set as German has it. As he comes into the offensive zone, German racing down the numbers on the near wing. That fired all the way back, and that'll slip out of bounds, as that is going to be Saline's ball as that pops up. Grabbing it ahead, Saline launches it down onto the far wing. That ball collected into the offensive zone. Onto the far wing, fired all the way back by Oron Heff. Now in the midfield area, grabbing it there is Heath. Heath comes towards the restraining line, gets it back over to Oron Heff. Oron Heff over onto the far wing, bringing that ahead is Thiessen. Thiessen into the offensive zone. Thiessen steps back into the midfield area. Excuse me, that was Stanton. Fired over onto the far wing. Oron Heff. Outside the hash marks on the far wing, gets it back over to Heath. Heath trying to work his way between the hash marks. Heath back over to Oron Heff. Oron Heff thought about the sidearm shot now on. Good block by Denson. That rolls all the way out. Closest to it is going to be Scarpati. That will be Saline's ball as they were able to run it out with 10:55 left to go here in the first. Scoreless so far. That ball underneath the goal line extended. Stanton has it. Stanton now cuts to the near side of the crease. Now going to the far side. Stanton trying to get above the goal line extended. Good pressure there by Ayouti Price. That ball right back into the midfield area. Coming down the far wing. Heath has it. Heath heads back towards the top of the offensive zone. Now over onto the far wing. With it is Oron Heff. Oron Heff. Top of the offensive zone, comes between the hash marks. Oron Heff coming down, just inside. That popped up. Loose ball. There's going to be a flag. That is going to be German going off. Let's see who. I believe it is indeed going to be German taking a knee. So Saline will be man up.
Pioneer penalty, number 16, Jack German, 30 seconds for holding.
Holding is the call against German. So that grab by Stanton. Stanton comes over to the near hash marks, fires it underneath the goal line extended. That picked up by Fate. Fate over onto the far wing. Over. Just in front. Now Oron Heff trying to get to it. That rolls out. That'll be Pioneer's ball as that was on a pass. So opposing the possession, Pioneer gets it. Garcia has it on the end line. 9:58 left to go here in the first. Scoreless so far. Denzen has it. Denzen coming up between the hash marks. Denzen approaches the restraining line. Now steps over into the midfield area. Denzen coming over, launches it all the way down and just a little high. Ayouti Price trying to get to it and just off the tip of the cross. That's going to go over to Saline. Stanton has it on the near sideline. Stanton over midfield as Leitch trying to get to that. Now over onto the near wing. Picked up over there by Fate. Top of the offensive zone, flips it back over into the midfield area for Heath. Now coming down the far hash marks, around half, gets it between the hash marks. That shot knocked down out in front. That was a blast by Mail. Now coming the other direction, here comes Pioneer. Trying to get it over to Houston. That rolls out the near sideline.
There's a lost phone available at the front gate. Lost phone at the front gate.
That is going to be Saline's ball coming down the near sideline. Page has it. Page firing it right back over to that's Owen Belotti. Ball into the offensive zone now. O'Ron Heff fires it back over, trying to come ahead. Scarpati over onto the near wing is Strock has it. Strock onto the near sideline. That fired underneath the goal line, extended over to Fate. Coming in along the end line from the near side to the far side. That flipped over to Scarpati. Scarpati up top of the offensive zone. Trying to pull it away. O'Ron Heff between the hash marks. Flips it over to Heath. Heath trying to come in. That knocked away. Good defense by Pioneer. That ball loose. Denson trying to rake it up. That pulled, fired. As Saline has it. Loose ball headed the other direction with it. As Cal Greasaber has it. That ahead to Lotch. Coming down in outside the numbers on the far wing. Lotch underneath the goal line extended. Now that flipped back over. Yang has it inside the numbers on the near wing. Yang back into the midfield area. That moved over to Commutin. Commutin has it just outside of the restraining line. Commutin coming down the far hash marks. Commutin flips that right back over to Lotch. Lotch loses an edge, pops back up. Lotch coming over the goal line extended onto the far wing. Now trying to work his way in. Shot at a goal! Pioneer scores first.
Pioneer goal, number 5, Jay Lotch.
So Lotch scoring first for Pioneer. That at 7:32. That was a Pioneer goal. Pioneer goes up 1-0. All set. Right at the block A's. Again, that does look like Bengal taking the face off. That's German again. Trying to pull that away. German has it. Good face-off win. 2-0 by German. That picked up, coming over the restraining line, raking down. Bupri rolls, and that'll go out the end line as that pass just off the tip of the cross. That'll go out for Saline as they'll have a 1-0 Pioneer. Page brings it in the end line. Page coming down the numbers on the far wing. Pressure coming as Jack Greasaber trying to make it difficult for Saline to get out of the zone. Here comes O'Ron Heff. O'Ron Heff into the offensive zone. O'Ron Heff. Newman watching him. O'Ron Heff. Now back into the midfield area. Flips that over onto the far wing for Stanton. Stanton now into the midfield area. Comes between the hash marks. 6:54 left to go. Substitution coming in. Now brought ahead. Down on the near hash marks. Making a move is Heath. Heath goes right on the far hash marks. Now coming between. That floated up. Spinning with it is Fate. Fate. And right back into the midfield area by Heath. Heath steps into the offensive zone. Heath cuts to his right. Heath sidearm shot. That goes high. Closest to it back over there was Scarpati. That will stay Saline ball with 6:27 left to go. 1-0. Pioneer with the lead. Fired all the way back. O'Ron Heff has it on the far sideline. O'Ron Heff. Watched there by German. O'Ron Heff. Right at the restraining line coming in. That ball loose. And fired all the way towards midfield. Popped up trying to get to it as Lotch has it. Lotch coming in. Lotch. Loose. Popped up. Grabbing it. Now coming ahead. Saline has it. O'Ron Heff right over midfield. O'Ron Heff into the offensive zone. Pioneer up by 1. Saline with the ball. Heath trying to fire it back behind underneath the goal line extended. That ball loose. Coming down the numbers. Battle for it is German trying to pull that away. German still battling as Stanton trying to get it on the other side. Dupree tried to get to it, but O'Ron Heff has it for Saline. Oron Heft between the hash marks approaches the restraining line, now into the offensive zone. Oron Heft, sidearm, thought about it. Now that ball loose, picked up, back into the midfield area, over to Heath. Heath coming just inside the far hash marks. Heath now cuts towards the near side. Heath down the near hash marks, flips that in between as that's knocked away. I think Garcia got a piece of it. There's a big collision and a whistle as a couple players got tangled up. Pioneer with possession. Audi Price puts it down onto the far hash marks. Yang running down outside the numbers. Yang underneath the goal line extended. Yang stopping there. Yang over to Karowski. Karowski just underneath the goal line extended back over to Lodge. Lodge gets it over to Miller. Miller coming down the far hash marks. Miller stops, flips it right back behind. Over to Yang. Yang and along the end line. Yang stutter steps right behind the crease. Now coming over to the near side. Yang gets it over to Karowski. Karowski sidearm shot. That goes out just wide. Miller closest to it. Running that out for Pioneer. They maintain possession with 4:34 left to go. 1-0 Pioneer with the lead. Yang has it on the near wing underneath the goal line extended. Flip back over to Lotch. Lotch between the hash marks. Sidearm shot. That tipped. Good save back over there. As good save by Bellotti. Coming down the hash marks on the near wing. Bellotti stops, flips that over to Bengal. Bengal, or excuse me, forgive me, that's Thomas. Thomas racing ahead. Whistle there. That ball over to Pioneer. Yang rakes it up with 4:04 left to go here in the first. Pioneer up by 1. Yang over midfield, outside the numbers on the near wing. Yang steps into the offensive zone. Now back into the midfield area. Yang fires that all the way over onto the far wing. Now working down. Audi Price has it. Shot there. Knocked away. Saline with the ball. That's grab Bellotti. Coming outside the hash marks on the near wing into the midfield area. Looking for a place to go with it. Looks to his left now. Continuing forward. Stops. Fires it. That's brought ahead by Thomas. Thomas coming down the numbers. Thomas over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Thomas steps back into the midfield area. 3:15 left to go. Here in the first. Pioneer up by 1. That ball sent over to Oron Heft. Oron Heft. Gets that back over. Is bringing that ahead is Stanton. Stanton into the offensive zone. Stanton on the hash marks on the near wing. Now racing down the near wing. Stanton moves it right back behind the goal over to Scarpati. Scarpati flips it over onto the far wing to Oron Heft. Oron Heft being launched by Audi Price. Oron Heft even with the goal now underneath the goal line extended. Flips that right back over to Thomas. Thomas trying to work against Commuting. Thomas over the goal line extended on the far wing. And fired back up top of the offensive zone over to Oron Heft. Oron Heft right at the restraining line. Stutter steps trying to come down the far hash marks. That's sent right into the middle over to Mail. And ball flipped over. Oron Heft thought about it. Comes in. Bounce shot. Good save by Denson. All the way over to Mail. Mail has it. Saline maintains possession. That flip back to Stanton in the midfield area. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go. Pioneer up by 1. Thomas has it on the far wing. Thomas between the hash marks, top of the offensive zone. That launched over onto the far wing. Loose. Running back over to get it. That raked up back over there by Scarpati. Scarpati. Just over above the goal line extended is Oron Heft. Oron Heft. Outside the far hash marks, flip right over to Stanton. Stanton right at the offensive line. Stanton coming down the near hash mark. Stanton shot there. Good job to block it by Denson. Run out by Stanton, so that maintains Saline possession with 1:38 left to go here in the first. Stanton along the end line. Stanton heads over onto the far wing. Yang picks him up there, trying to fire it into the middle as they were trying to get it over to Mail. That rolls out the near sideline. That will be Pioneer's ball as Cal Griesaber has it. Move that over to Audi Price. Audi Price over midfield. That flip, trying to get to commute, and that ball down, raked up by Saline. Coming ahead with it is Bangle. Bangle coming over midfield. Bangle with the long cross, trying to flip it ahead. Now over onto the far wing. Saline with control. Scarpati gets it between the hash marks over to Oron Heft. That ball onto the ground. Loose ball. Oron Heft able to rake it up back into the midfield area. 57 seconds left to go. Heath has it over onto the far wing. Running off is Ross. Saline will bring a new player on with substitution. Quickly flipped over as that is Thomas. Thomas over the restraining line. Thomas between the hash marks. Thomas running down the near hash mark. Shot there. Another save by Denson as that goes out. Again, closest to it is Scarpati. That will maintain Saline possession with 34 seconds left. Pioneer with a 1-goal lead. Saline has had a lot of time in Pioneer's end. That all the way back to Heath in the midfield area. Heath right at the restraining line. Now steps into the offensive zone. Heath being watched closely there by Houston. Heath fires it right back behind that over to Mail. Back over to Heath. Heath coming from the near side to the far side underneath the goal line extended. Heath trying to get above the goal line there. Heath, and that's picked up by Houston. Ball down. Now Cal Greasesaber has it. Cal Greasesaber launches it all the way down. That grabbed is that will do it for the end of the first. At the end of one, it is Pioneer 1 and Saline nothing.
And now here to announce our sponsors this season.
To have our sponsors for Pioneer Men's Lacrosse. Platinum sponsors are Edwards and Schaefer Orthodontics, Gago Center for Fertility, Gago Specialty Eye Institute, Ganger Dermatology, Greasesaber Dentistry, Venue, Ron's Garage, Whitzler's Gear, Joe's Pizza, and Capnick Insurance. Gold sponsors includes Nothing Bundt Cakes, Anderson Paint, First Martin Corporation, Jen Rosenberg Consulting, PLG Lacrosse / the Blue Jays, Ceci Lincoln, State and Liberty Clothing, Venue, Mr. Spots, Hurwitzer Green Real Estate Broker, Ariel Hurwitzer Green, Ufer and Company, Varsity Ford, and Metallark Design and Build, as well as Buffalo Wild Wings. Silver sponsors, it's Arbor Mac Repair, Produce Station, Odom Stark Real Estate Agent, Underground Printing, Lewis Jewelers, York, Calder Dairy, and the Relaxation Station. Please help support all those who help support the Pioneer lacrosse teams. So let's play a quick little push on, and we'll be back for your second quarter action. As the teams head back out onto the field, Thomas has been the one who's been taking face-offs for Saline. Forgive me, I just saw the two and thought it was Bangle. German in on the other side to take the face-off. Beaupre on the near wing, joined over there by Nichols. Houston on the far wing. Over the Houston is Munson. Ball set right at the blockade. German versus Thomas. That ball rolls over. German trying to get to it, still loose. Thomas trying to rake it up. German using the body to try and protect it. That popped up high and grabbed, headed the other direction is Nichols. Nichols coming outside the numbers. That sidearm all the way down the pitch. Gathered up there by Fate. Now flips it over. Coming in is Oron Heft. That ball grabbed. Good job by Denson. As Denson flips it over. Coming ahead down the far wing, here comes Houston. Houston over midfield. Houston stops. Houston fires it all the way across. German has it. German over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Flipped over as that's a shot by Jack Greasesaber. Good job by Botch to get it as he got that deflection. Back over to Karowski. Karowski over to German. German on the near wing, top of the offensive zone. Flip back into the midfield area. That over to Beaupre. Back over to German on the near wing. German coming down the hash marks on the near wing. Popped away. German gets it back. German stops. Flips that all the way back over to Lotch. Lotch trying to work as he comes onto the near wing. Over the goal line, extended. Lotch now trying to come down the goal line, back behind, wrapping around the crease. There's a sidearm shot. Knocked away. Good defense back there by Bellotti. Now coming ahead with it. Launched all the way down onto the near wing. Grab by Stanton. Stanton brings it ahead outside the numbers. Over midfield for Saline. Stanton moves over into the offensive zone. Now steps back into midfield area, waiting for substitutions to come in. Ball flipped over to Heath. Heath has it. 10:09 left to go here in the second. Pioneer up 1-0, but Saline with possession. Over on half has it between the hash marks back in the midfield area. More substitutions coming on for Saline. As coming down with the ball over onto the far wing as that's Strzok. Strzok feeds it right back behind the goal. Over onto the near wing is Scarpati. Scarpati over the goal line extended back to Heath. Heath now racing over the restraining line. Heath coming down to the far wing. Fired. That just grabbed high out of the air. Over on half, able to reach up high and snatch that out of midair. Heath calling out signals now. Heath outside the far hash marks. Heath coming down just inside the numbers. Picked up by Newman over there. Heath now heads towards the top of the offensive zone. Flipped over to Strzok. Strzok back in the midfield area. Strzok racing down the far hash marks. Knocked away by Commutin. Commutin trying to... There's another loose ball. Strzok got it. Strzok fires it right back behind over to Mayo. Mayo over onto the near wing. Flipped over as that's grabbed by Scarpati. Scarpati over the goal line extended. Scarpati heading towards the top of the offensive zone. Back over to Heath. Heath now coming down outside the far hash marks. Newman trying to block him. Then fired loose, and that will go out the end line. Pioneer will have possession. 8:39 left to go here in the second quarter. Pioneer up 1-0, and so far a low-scoring affair, but that can change quickly in lacrosse. Racing over, bringing it ahead is German. German over midfield. German stops. German flips it all the way across, and it's grabbed by Commutin. Commutin over down, over to Lotch. Lotch over even with the goal onto the near wing. Lotch underneath the goal line extended. Lotch being launched over there by Page. Flips that over to Karowski. Karowski goes over the goal line extended. Karowski working against Bangle. Karowski puts it right back into the midfield area. And it's grabbed by Miller. Miller over the restraining line. Miller coming down the near hash marks. Miller launches it back behind over to Lodge. Lodge flips that. And is coming ahead with it. Jack Griesaber. That ball loose. Trying to rake it up. Jack Griesaber has it. Jack Griesaber now again over the restraining line. Shot there. That deflects. Run out by Pioneer. They will maintain possession. 7:41 left to go here in the second. 1-0 Pioneer with the lone goal so far of the game. Lodge has it in along the end line. Lodge now cutting to the far wing, trying to work around the crease. Lodge stops there. Double team, takes a big heavy knock of the cross. They have fired, and that will go out. Deflected out. Pioneer closest to it with 7:31 left to go. Ball in along the end line. Karowski with it. Karowski now cutting to the far side of the crease, even with the goal. And shot there by Commutin. That ball rolls out the far hash mark, closest to it. Jack Griesaber. So he will have that for Pioneer on the far sideline. 7:23 left to go. Jack Griesaber out into the midfield area. Jack Griesaber now coming over the restraining line. Shot there. Big save by Bellotti. Bellotti has it, coming over the goal line extended. Outside the near hash mark, 7 minutes left to go before halftime. Bellotti launches it all the way ahead to Ross. Ross coming down the numbers into the offensive zone. Ross fires it. That slips as just off the tip of the cross by Scarpati. That will be Pioneers' ball. Timeout called. As I believe that was Saline calling the timeout. We'll take a brief moment to step away and play a message from the MHSAA.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As it is here in the second. 6:50 left to go before halftime. 1-0 Pioneer with the lead. Garcia has the ball in along the end line. Start things off for Pioneer. And 6:50 left to go before halftime. Ahead with it. Ball launched, now racing is Audi Price. Has it into the offensive zone. Flip back over to Commute. Commute between the hash marks in the midfield area. Commute comes over the restraining line outside the hash marks on the near wing. Commute fires it back over to Jack Greasaber. Jack Greasaber heads towards the top of the offensive zone, steps into the midfield area. Jack Greasaber. Now inside the near hash marks. Blast! There is a bounce shot. Closest to it, Karowski. So he runs that out. That will stay Pioneer ball with 6:13 left to go before halftime. That ball launched all the way on the far sideline over to Yang. Yang steps back into the midfield area over to Jack Greasaber. Jack Greasaber on the far hash marks. Now trying to spin away from traffic. And comes out to the near hash marks. There's a blast and a big save by Balut. Pioneer again ran it out. They have possession over to Lotch. Lotch back behind the goal. Lotch coming over the goal line, extended on the far wing. Lotch trying to avoid pressure. Lotch, there's a bounce shot that deflects back. Trying to rake it up. A big battle coming away with it is Saline. Racing ahead with it as here comes Nichols. Nichols over midfield. Nichols fires it over onto the near wing. Coming out into the midfield area as that's grabbed by Scarpati. Scarpati. And waiting for substitutions to come in. Scarpati flips that all the way over, trying to get it to Oren Heff, and that goes out the far sideline. That will be Pioneer's ball. Miller has it. Miller between the hash marks. Miller coming over onto the near wing, racing down the numbers into the offensive zone. Miller cuts towards the goal, trying to flip that over. Loose ball. Picked up. That's grabbed back over there by Kipley. Launched. Loose into the midfield area. Still racing to try and get it is Commute. Commute battling with Thiessen. That ball right at midfield. Whistle blown. Pioneer has it. Is Yang trying to fire it over to Commute, and that just off the tip of his cross. Out of bounds. That will be Saline's ball. 4:45 left to go here in the second. Ball launched all the way over onto the near wing. Page bringing it ahead for Saline. Page over midfield. Just inside the numbers on the near wing. Page now over the restraining line. Fires it all the way down onto the near wing. And Scarpati just off of his crosses. A little bit of extra pepper on some of these passes. That's going to be Conley bringing it ahead for Pioneer down on the near wing. Conley races into the midfield area. Conley coming down. Now that fired over. Lodge has it. Lodge down the numbers onto the near wing. Lodge underneath the goal line extended. Lodge now fires it over onto the far wing. Karowski sends it top of the offensive zone over to Bupri. Bupri over to German, now over to Audi Price. Audi Price coming down the near hash marks. Audi Price stops, sidearm shot, and he scores! 2-0, Pioneer. Audi Price finds just inside the far post, and it's a score for Pioneer.
Number 3, Dakota Audi Price. Scores Pioneers 2, Hornet 0. 3:59 remaining in the second quarter.
So Audi Price makes it 2-0 Pioneer. Thomas and German again in to take the face off. That ball over onto the near wing, whistle though. That is going to be Saline ball. Thomas has it on the near wing. He'll come between the hash marks now. So Thomas will start on the blockades. That flip back over to Stanton. Stanton over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Now step back into midfield area. Stanton on the near hash marks. Takes a stutter step. Stanton side steps. Flips it over to Oren Heft. Oren Heft right along the restraining line. Excuse me, that's Heath. Heath. Now fired over onto the far wing, grabbed by Stanton. Back in along the end line, ball knocked down, trying to rake it up. Battle back there, Strock trying to get to that. That's going to be Pioneer ball. Ball launched over to Denzin. Denzin coming up between the hash marks. Denzin into the midfield area. Denzin racing down as he goes over the restraining line, as that is going to be, I believe, looks like they blew it dead on an offside. Denzin thought one of the players replaced him.
Offside on Pioneers, swing ball.
And will turn into a Saline ball with 3:07 left to go here before halftime. You know, wind-whipped hallway field on a nice spring day. Ball coming down the far wing. Stopped. Now Stanton has it underneath the goal line extended. Stanton gets a screen from Fate. Stanton underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Stanton trying to come down the goal line as he goes just above it, just outside the near hash marks. That flipped over. Now Oren Heft has it. Oren Heft fires it in between the hash marks. Loose. That ball brought ahead. Racing ahead with it is German. German outside the numbers over midfield. German racing down into the offensive zone. German heads underneath the goal line extended. 2:22 left to go. German fires it over to Karowski. Karowski over onto the far wing. Grabbed there by Lodge. Lodge sends it all the way top of the offensive zone over to Audi Price. Audi Price between the hash marks. Audi Price over the restraining line, coming down the near hash mark. Stops, flips shoulders, now coming back. Audi Price underneath, over to Karowski. Karowski all the way over onto the far wing. That launched, loose, is trying to get to it is Miller. That ball raked up. Trying to grab it is Commutin, still battling. Is trying to get to it. That ball loose, down onto the ground. Goes Lotch, and whistle blown. That's going to be Pioneers' ball. Miller has it right at the restraining line. Miller gets it over on the near wing. Audi Price. Audi Price sends it back over to Karowski. Karowski over to Lotch. Lotch over the goal line extended. Lotch trying to get a little room to work. That flipped over. Shot by Miller. That knocked away by Balut. Closest to a Pioneer, 1:15 left to go here before halftime as that ball loose, trying to get to the top of the offensive zone, pulled away. Coming ahead, here comes Saline racing over the restraining line, fired as Heath sends it that loose. Conley rakes it up and along the end line. Gets it over to Denson. 59 seconds left to go here before halftime. Denson launches a huge pass all the way down over the restraining line. A.U.D. Price has it on the far wing. A.U.D. Price sends it back to German. German in the midfield area. Over to Yang. Yang over onto the near wing. Yang all the way down to Lach. Whistle. Timeout called by Pioneer. They want to try and get another goal in this last 34 seconds before halftime, so we'll step away and play a couple quick messages from the MHSAA.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Seconds left to go before halftime. Pioneer up 2-0 on Saline. As that ball over, Karowski trying to fire it up. A.U.D. Price has it back into the midfield area. 23 seconds left to go before halftime. A.U.D. Price coming down just outside the far hash marks, back into the midfield area. Now A.U.D. Price trying to come down the near hash mark. Stop. Looking for a place to go. Flips it over. Coming in, Jack Reese. Saber that knocked away. Headed the other direction with it. Here comes Thiessen. Thiessen launches it down, and that will go out. That will do it for the first half, as it is Pioneer 2 and Saline nothing at the end of the first half. We will play messages from the MHSAA. We will be right back with your second half action. You're watching Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Power Ratings will be used this year in soccer, basketball, and boys lacrosse to seed the district tournament in those sports, and you can follow along. Visit your school's page on the MHSAA website to see how your team is faring, and you can look at statewide lists as well. And if you see your team is missing a score, submit it. Learn more about the Michigan Power Rankings at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
About to head into the third here at Hallway Field. It's dropped down to 58 degrees here heading into the second. The wind continues to blow pretty furiously around Hallway Field. Good hearty crowd out here. They don't mind. Pioneer up 2-0. Heading into the third. Thomas coming out to take the face-off right at the blockades. Balut down over to the left. Denzin going to the right. Pioneer going right to left here in the third. Ball set. German comes out to join Thomas right at the blockades. He has been very, very good on the face-off. A huge part of the game. Ball set for the face-off. Pioneer. All popped up, and just as I said that, Thomas has it, so my little jinx there coming ahead. Thomas over midfield. Thomas outside the hash marks. Now into the offensive zone. Thomas outside the numbers, underneath the goal line extended, into the near corner. Thomas heads up over the goal line extended, flips that over to Fate. Fate back into the midfield area, over to Heath. Heath waiting for substitutions to come on. Oron Heff comes in. Now coming down, Heath outside the hash marks, fires. As that all the way out. That will be Pioneer ball. Pass trying to move it across Out of bounds. Pioneer has it. German will have it on the far sideline. 11:22 left to go here in the third. Pioneer up 2-0. Denzer gets the ball up between the hash marks, launched all the way ahead. Grabbed by Houston. Houston fires, and that grabbed is that picked off by Balut. Quickly the other direction. Here comes Saline as Heath over midfield. Heath coming down the far hash marks, flips that over. Sent back by Scarpati into midfield area. Picked up there by Strock. Strock over the restraining line, coming down the near hash mark. Strock, even with the goal, flips that right back behind. And launched out in front by Fate. Onto the far wing, bounce shot, stop there. Denson with a great save. 10:35 left to go. Ball ahead, Commutin with it. Commutin, that ball loose. Commutin trying to get to it, raked over. Still loose on the far sideline, out. That is going to be Pioneer ball. Jack Reese-Saber has it. Jack Reese-Saber coming onto the near hash marks, trying to split a pair of defenders. Shot at a goal. There is a flag, so we'll see. It is a good goal. Pioneer goes up 3-0 by Jack Reese-Saber. Here in the third, Pioneer has a goal each of the quarters.
Pioneers 3. Hornets 0.
And at 10:13
remaining in the third quarter.
So Pioneer has the 3-0 lead.
Penalty on Saline, number 21, Coleman Ross. 1 minute for cross-checking.
So Ross will have to take a knee. Pioneer up on a cross-checking call, man up. German again versus Thomas for the face-off. And ball raked over onto the far wing. Brought ahead, coming down. As into the offensive zone is Nichols. Bringing it on. O'Run half. Over to Heath. Heath between the hash marks. Heath outside the near hash marks in the midfield area. Heath over the restraining line. Coming down the near hash marks. Heath underneath the goal line extended. Fires it over onto the far wing. And that ball loose, trying to rake it up. That's picked up back over there by Fate. Fate moves it right back behind, over to Heath. Heath on the far wing, underneath the goal line extended. Newton picks him up there. Heath up the far sideline, over the goal line extended. Heath heads towards the top of the offensive zone. Heath turning, trying to come between the hash marks. Heath using the bide to protect the ball. Stops on the near hash marks. Heath calling out signals. And launches it in between. Shot and a goal. That was Scarpati, number 8, who put it in. Saline gets on the board with their first goal. That at 9-11.
Saline goal.
Heath on the
number
assist.
11, Nolan Heath. Sorry. Number 8, Jack Scarpati, assisted by number Nolan Heath.
So Scarpati with the goal, Heath with the assist,
Score
3-1.
Pioneers 3, Hornets 1, 9:11 remaining in the third quarter.
9 minutes, 11 seconds left to go here in the third. Saline.
Pioneer penalty on number
Gotten their
16,
first
Jack
goal.
German. 1 minute for slashing.
So German off on a slashing call, as that is going to put Sun in to take the face off. Thomas on the other side. That popped up over down onto the far wing. Raked up there, bringing it ahead is Delaney. Delaney between the hash marks. Stops, spins over the restraining line. Now back into the midfield area. That flipped over to Munson. Munson over onto the far wing. Over to Fate. Fate. Rolled back over. Gathered up back over there by Stanton. Stanton waits for the final substitution. Coming down the near hash mark. Stanton fires it back behind over to Fate. Fate over onto the far wing to Heath. Heath on that far sideline. Scarpati with it. Just scored the first goal for Saline. 8:28 left to go. Heath back to Scarpati. Scarpati over to O'Run Heff. O'Run Heff Right the restraining line. Back over to Scarpati. Scarpati switches positions with Oron Heff. Now Oron Heff has it just inside the numbers on the far wing. Oron Heff moving it. Heath trying to get it over. Good job to knock it away by Audi Price. But Saline gets it back. Coming down with it is Stanton. Stanton on the near wing. Sends it underneath. Over to Fate. Fate coming from the near side. Flips it over. Underneath the goal line on the far wing is Heath. Heath being watched by Houston. Heath. Now Yang picks him up. Heath trying to work his way between the hash marks. Flip. Yang gets it out of midair. Yang bringing it ahead for Pioneer. Coming down the numbers on the near wing. Yang over midfield. Pioneer into the offensive zone. Yang has it there. Yang goes underneath the goal line extended. Now he'll move that over to Lodge. Lodge. Over on the near hash marks. Underneath the goal line extended. Right in along the end line. Watch. Into the near corner. It's being watched back over there by Strzok. Excuse me. Forgive me. That's Page. Lodge. Fires it back into midfield area. A.U.D. Price, excuse me. Coming ahead with it. And shot knocked down. A.U.D. Price has it knocked away. Trying to get to it. Ball on the far sideline. Still knocked down. Loose over midfield. That is going to be a push. That will be Saline's ball. Saline brings it over. Picked up there by Fate. Fate. Over the restraining line. Down inside the numbers. Sent back into midfield area. Grabbed by Stanton. Stanton coming down the near hash marks. Loses an edge. Pops back up. Stanton sends it back into midfield area. Now trying to race ahead. That ball shot. Tipped away. Good job by Denson. That was a blast by Strzok. Goes out. Closest to it, Fate. That will be Saline's ball with 6:29 left to go. 3-1 Pioneer. With the lead, Saline scored last. And ball into the far corner. Oron Heff with it. Oron Heff trying to cut. Now spins along the crease. Over the goal line extended. Shot there and a goal. Oron Heff fires it from the far hash marks. Able to get it past at 6:11, and it's 3-2. Saline down by a goal, but they've had the last two goals.
Number 1, John Oren Huff. Scores Pioneers 3, Hornets 2. 6:11 remaining in the third quarter.
Pioneer had scored a goal in the first, second, and third. They had a 3-goal run. Saline has answered back with 2 in the third. They now have a 2-goal run. Pioneer hoping to break that here. German back to take the face-off versus Thomas. That ball back over, loose, trying to rake it up, still loose onto the far wing. Popped back, rolling, Thomas racing over to try and get to it. That ball over the restraining line. Now coming the other direction, here comes Thomas. Thomas trying to get around Newman. Thomas down the far sideline. Thomas into the offensive zone. Thomas stops even with the goal on the far wing. Lofts that all the way back. Oron Heff, who had the last goal, back in the midfield area. Saline sends 2 off, brings 2 more on. Rolls the ball over. That's raked up by Heath. Heath comes between the hash marks here. 1-goal lead by Pioneer. Want to get big stop on Saline here. Stanton with it over the restraining line. Stanton coming down the near wing. Stops. Flips it back over between the hash marks to Heath. Heath now over onto the near wing. Heath trying to come down the near hash marks. Heath underneath the goal line extended. Heath trying to knock that away is Cal Grieshaber. Now Heath has it. Heath still working against Cal Grieshaber. Battle for it, even with the goal on the far wing. Sent back. There's a shot by Mail. Good job by Denson to steal that away. Commutin takes a big check, but that's picked up. And there's a whistle. Flag thrown. I believe that's going to be Pioneer ball on a Saline penalty. We'll double check that. And at 4:52 here left in the third, 3-2. I believe Lodge has it right at the block A's for the ball. Cross-checking is the call. Oran Heff is going to take a knee. Pioneer,
on number 1,
man up.
1 minute for cross-checking.
So Pioneer man up for a minute. Lodge has it right at the block A's. The official talking with him. Pioneer wants to cut and stop this 2-goal run by Saline. Lodge has it, coming down the numbers on the far wing. Over to Yang. Back over to Lodge. Back over to Yang. Back to Lodge. Lodge sends it over to Miller. Miller over to Jack Greasaber. Now over onto the near wing. Udi Price has it. Jack Greasaber over onto the far wing. Back, Yang, back, top of the offensive zone to Miller. Now Jack Greasaber, that tipped away. And will go out the end line. Pioneer maintains possession. Karowski has it in along the end line. Karowski over Udi Price. Back, top of the offensive zone. Now over to Lodge. Lodge gets it over to Yang. Yang fires it even with the Golden, gets it back. And over to Lodge. Lodge, sidearm shot. That gets knocked away. Ball grabbed. It's a good job pulling that away by Balut. Balut wafts it all the way down. Grabbed just shy of midfield, trying to bring it ahead. Launched over to Bengal. Bengal coming with it. Udi Price trying to knock that away. And ball over into the offensive zone. Now coming down with it is Strzok. Strzok onto the far sideline. Back, top of the offensive zone. Over to Oran Heff. Oran Heff. Back over into midfield area. Now Stanton with it over into the offensive zone. Stanton flips it right back behind over to Fate. Over onto the far wing. Now Oran Heff trying to work it in. Good defense, knocking it away. That's picked up, knocked away again. Conley trying to get to that. Now raked up by Miller. Miller coming ahead for Pioneer as he ends up in a Saline sandwich there. That ball raked up, headed the other direction. With it is Stanton. Stanton feeds it down to the near wing. That ball rolls over, trying to get to it. That picked up. Good job by Cal Greasaber. Now coming ahead with it. Racing, Udi Price. That ball down, picked up by Stanton, but a flag flies. Whistles blow. 2:52 left to go. Big battle between 8-1 Pioneer and 7-3 Saline. The only teams to beat the Saline team has been Bedford twice and Pioneer once. The only team to beat Pioneer has been Bedford. Saline wants to rectify that. Pioneer would love to try and beat Saline a second time this season. Never easy to do.
Stanton
picks up the penalty. 30 seconds for holding. Pioneer man up. Lodge has it. Lodge moves that over to Jack Greasaber. Now on to the near wing. Trying to work. Udi Price. Udi Price coming down the far hash marks. Bounce shot. Run out by Karowski. Karowski closest to it. Pioneer maintains possession with 2:37 left to go here in the third. Karowski fires it. Jack Greasaber. Back into midfield area. Over to Miller. Miller over onto the far wing. That's sent back by Lodge. Over and out the near sideline. That will be Saline ball. Delaney comes over to pick that up. Delaney trying to make a swim move around Jack Greasaber. Now coming ahead, Delaney right to the offensive zone. Steps into the offensive zone. Timeout call. Saline calls the timeout with 2:16 left to go here in the third. Pioneer 3, Saline 2. Let's play a little push on and try and get you fired up. The team fired up. Everybody fired up.
health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Saline back out onto the field as Pioneer still gathered up, getting last-minute instructions from their coaching staff. Again, Pioneer, a goal in the first, a goal in the second, a goal in the third. Then Saline answering back with 2 goals in the third to make it 3-2. Saline has the ball. Over onto the near wing. That's going to be Heath with it. He'll start off right at the restraining line. Heath trying to cut down the hash marks. That moved back behind the goal as fate has it. Fate over onto the far wing and pulled ahead by Scarpati. All the way back, rolls over midfield. That will be Pioneer's ball. Watch with it. Watch. Calling out signals. He'll step back into the midfield area. Now there's the whistle. Watch. Over the restraining line. Excuse me. Forgive me. That is AUD Price. Back over to Watch. Watch. Underneath the goal line extended. Watch. Into the far corner. He's being watched over there by Page. Watch. Trying to shake free. Coming between the hash marks. That ball loose. Trying to rake it up as Commuton has it. Commuton outside the far hash mark. Commuton underneath the goal line extended. Commuton trying to make his way around over the goal line extended. Commuton heads back towards the top of the offensive zone. Over to Lodge. Lodge over to Yang. Yang has it on the numbers on the far wing. Back over to Jack Greasaber. Jack Greasaber gets a screen from Yang. Jack Greasaber outside the hash marks on the far wing, heading down towards the goal line extended. Now trying to spin around. Jack Greasaber launches it. That ball loose. In between the hash marks, picked up, headed the other direction. Here comes Nichols. Nichols over midfield. Nichols racing ahead with it. That ball loose. Nichols rakes it up. Now fires it down onto the near wing. Gets that back over as that's going to be Fate with it. Fate gets it over to Heath. Heath right at the restraining line on the near wing. 41 seconds left to go. Saline with the 2-goal run and possession. Pioneer with the 1-goal lead. Heath over to Thomas. Thomas steps over the restraining line between the hash marks. Thomas trying to come down and trying to flip it across. There's a shot and fired in by Thomas. We're all tied up at 3 apiece with 24 seconds left to go in the third. Saline scores. Thomas puts it in.
Score is tied at 3 with 24 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
3-goal run by Saline, and it's a tie game. Pioneer offense desperately wants to stop this goal run by Saline, Thomas, and German. Right at the blockades. Dupree over on the far wing with Delaney. Over on the near wing is Houston, joined over there by Munson. That ball trying to rake it up. Thomas has it. Now trying to get to it. That pulled away. Fired across by Dupree. Ball down. Trying to rake it up is German. Still loose onto the far wing. Into the midfield area. That grab. Now Dupree has it. Coming over the restraining line. Fired. Jack Greasaber coming in. Shot that knocked away. Picked up. There's a flag as a collision. And will be the end of the third.
That is the end of the third quarter.
And Saline is fired up. They have a lot of momentum headed into the fourth. Pioneer is going to try and counter that as we will step away and play a little push on here. thank all the wonderful sponsors for Pioneer Men's Lacrosse. That includes platinum sponsors, Edwards and Schaefer Orthodontics, Gagos Center for Fertility, Gagos Specialty Eye Institute, Ganger Dermatology, Gree Saber Dentistry, Venue, Ron's Garage, Winsler's Gear, Joe's Pizza, and Kapnick Insurance. Gold sponsors includes Nothing But Cakes, Anderson Paint, First Martin Corporation, Joe Rosenberg Consulting, PLG Lacrosse and Blue Jays Lacrosse, Sassy Lincoln, State and Liberty Clothing, Venue, Mr. Spots, Ariel Hurwitz Green, Real Estate Broker, Ufer and Company, Varsity Ford and Meadowlark Design and Build, as well as Buffalo Wild Wings. Silver sponsors includes Harbor Mac Repair, Produce Station, Dab Odom Stern Real Estate, Underground Printing, Lewis Jewelers, York, Calder Dairy, and the Relaxation Station. Well, appreciate all those wonderful folks who help support the Pioneer men's lacrosse team. Please help support them. 3-3 is our score. 3 straight goals in the third by Saline has this game tied up. It all comes down to the fourth quarter here. Saline with all the momentum. Pioneer trying to put a pin in that and get the momentum back going their way. Thomas in to take the face-off. German on the other side. Commuting on the near wing with Delaney. On the far wing is Houston. Over there with Munson. Ball set between the blockades. Players get down in the face-off position. Popped back up. Thomas has it. Thomas coming down the numbers on the far wing. Thomas has it for Saline over into the offensive zone. Thomas launches it all the way back, and that will go out of bounds just over the outstretched cross of fate. That will be Pioneer ball. 11:47 left to go. Denzin with it. Denzin between the hash marks. Pioneers offense would love to get a goal here. Brought ahead Garcia. Over the restraining line into the midfield area. Over to Conley. Conley trying to get over midfield. Back over. Now Cal Griesaber fires it ahead. And that is going to be Saline's ball. Didn't see if someone was offsides or what happened there. Page coming down the near sideline. Saline with it. That's sent over to Scarpati. Scarpati heads towards the top of the offensive zone. Scarpati. Back over to Oron Heff. Oron Heff heads between the hash marks. He flips that over to Strock. Strock over onto the far wing. That over to Heath. Heath just inside the numbers on the far wing. Heath into the offensive zone. Houston watching him. Heath goes underneath the goal line extended. Sent right back behind. I believe that's Fate over there. Fate over to Oron Heff. Oron Heff comes. Shot. Denzin with an excellent save. Plucked out of midair. Back over there by Fate. Ball loose. Trying to rake it up. Still loose. Trying to get to it is Yang. Yang. Down on the ground. Did Conley get to it? No. German trying to get to it. That raked up back over there by Strock. Strock into the far corner. Strock trying to come from the far side. Firing it out in front. That ball all the way out the near corner. Good job to get a piece of it there. 10:20 left to go here in the fourth. Strock with it into the near corner. Saline very dangerous. Yang. So slash on Yang. Oh, German, excuse me. So German goes off. He takes a knee. Saline, man up for a minute. Heath has it in the midfield area. Heath, about 5 yards outside of the offensive zone with 10:20 left to go. 3-3 is our score. Ball launched by Stanton. Back behind. Over to Fate. Fate. Over on the near wing. Over to Strock. Strock goes over the goal line. Extended, excuse me. And sent Heath over. Now grabbed. Oron Heff with a shot and a save by Denzin. As Denzin trying to avoid pressure back over there. Comes up the far wing. Denzin launches it ahead. That rolls over. Raked up. Grabbing it is Balut. Balut. Over to Oron Heff. Oron Heff over midfield. Oron Heff coming down the numbers on the near wing. Oron Heff stops. Spins. Oron Heff right at the restraining line. Moves it over onto the near wing. That over to Scarpati. Scarpati. Back, top of the offensive zone. There's a shot by Oron Heff. And the go-ahead goal, low goal, just snuck under as Oron Heff has his second goal of the game. So number 1 with the goal. That at 9:31. So Saline takes the 1-goal lead for the first time in this game. They have a lot of momentum here. As that popped up by Thomas. Thomas gets it. Thomas heading down the numbers on the far wing. Over midfield, Thomas lofts it. And gathered up as Fate goes underneath the goal line extended. Fate stops. Now directly behind the goal. Garcia watching him. Sends that all the way back into the midfield area. Picked up there as Heath coming down outside the far hash marks. Heath stops, spins, trying to get around Newman. Heath fires it back behind as that's grabbed by Fate. Fate back over to Heath. Heath underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Garcia watching him. Heath over the goal line extended. Sidestepping now, trying to cut between the hash marks. Heath spinning again, trying to get loose, fires it out in front as there's a shot that just goes wide. Jump shot by Scarpati. Run out by Saline. They maintain possession. They have the 1-goal lead. Fate back behind the goal. Now over the goal line extended. Fate sends it back towards the top of the offensive zone. Stanton gets it over to Heath. Heath back over to Stanton outside the far hash mark. Stanton trying to spin with it. Walled off there by Commuton. Stanton back into the midfield area. Stanton gets a running start coming down towards the goal line. Stanton underneath the goal line extended back to Fate. Fate underneath on the near wing and sent over to Mayo. Mayo back into the midfield area for Heath. Heath cutting towards his right. Heath sidearm shot. And that is going to be a goal by Heath, number 11, and it's a 2-goal lead by Saline. That it's 7:54. Saline has scored 5 goals in a row. Pioneer takes a timeout. Saline has really come on after that Pioneer goal in the third. Saline found a way to adjust things and light their fire. We'll be right back. There's a few messages from the MHSAA.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As Pioneer breaking the huddle, heading out onto the field. Thomas set up. Pioneer going from left to right here in this fourth quarter. German and Thomas set to take the face-off. Onto the near wing is Beaupre, joined with Nichols on the far wing. And it's Houston over there with Munson, I believe. All set, ready for the face-off as German trying to break it up. German wins that one and heads over into the offensive zone. German on the far sideline. Lofts that back underneath the goal line extended. Karowski with it. Karowski trying to get heading towards the top of the offensive zone. Karowski into the midfield area. Karowski gets it over to Beaupre. Beaupre Now sent even with the goal over to Lotch. Lotch on the near wing. Lotch trying to head between the hash marks. Lotch walled off there. Now trying to come in. Jack Reesaber with it. That shot run out by Pioneer. 7:18 left to go here in the fourth. 5-3. Saline with the lead. Pioneer has it. And along the end line. Karowski with it. Karowski gets it over to Lotch. Lotch trying to spin away from traffic. Sidearm shot and a goal! Lotch stops the 5-goal run for Saline and makes it a 1-goal game. That is his second goal. He had the first one of the game. That one at 7-11. And it is a 5-4 game. Karowski gets the assist. Dupree over onto the near wing with Delaney. German with Thomas in to take the face-off. Both squads fired up across the way. As that is going to be Saline ball. And sent over Oron Heff. Coming down the numbers on the far wing. Now steps back. Waits for substitutions to come on. That ball over to Stanton. Stanton over to Heath. Heath calling out signals back to Stanton. Stanton over the restraining line. Stanton on the hash marks on the far wing. Sends it back over to Oron Heff. Good job by German. That tipped. Denson got a piece of it. Closest to it back there is Fate. Saline with the ball. 6:42 left to go. 5-4. Saline with the lead. Pioneer with the last goal. Fate. Underneath the goal line, extended on the near wing. Sends it back over. Stanton with it and along the end line. Stanton trying to work against Dupree. Stanton trying to get above the goal line, extended over to Mail. That shot loose as that is going to be Pioneer ball. Denson as well as Cal Greasaber is stretching that pole to be closest to it. Good hustle there by both those players. Just barely beating out Fate. Pioneer brings it ahead. Cal Greasaber. Right into midfield area over to Lotch. Lotch trying to get through traffic. Over the center line. Lotch coming down into the offensive zone. Lotch goes underneath the goal line, extended with a shot. That one knocked away as Balut has it. Fired ahead. That ball right at midfield. As that is going to be, it's going to be Saline's ball as they determined that Garcia was not pushed and went over the center line himself. Saline with the 1-goal lead and the ball. Whistle blows. Oron Heff has it. Cuts between the hash marks. Moves it over, loose ball. Over onto the far wing, raked up there by Fate. Fate gets it over to Stanton. Stanton on the numbers on the far wing. Over to Heath. Heath back in the midfield area. Heath racing down the far hash marks. Heath walled off there by Yang. Heath trying to make his way around underneath the goal line extended. Sent back to Fate. Fate back over to Heath. Heath on the far wing underneath the goal line extended. Now Heath sidesteps coming over onto the near wing. Heath. Even with the goal on the near wing. Heath trying to get around Houston. That shot, Denson knocks it away. That is going to be Pioneer ball. 5:10 left to go. Pioneer down by 1. They have the ball. Denson brings it ahead. He launches that. Here comes Lotch. Lotch coming down the hash marks. Lotch makes a good cut over midfield. Lotch down on the numbers into the offensive zone. Lotch now heads towards the goal line extended, goes underneath the goal line extended. Lotch. Now going from the near side to the far side. 4:45 left to go. Ball over onto the far wing. Sent back to Miller, top of the offensive zone. Miller over to AUD Price. AUD Price. Stopping, spinning. Now back towards the top of the offensive zone. AUD Price trying to shake himself free. There's a blast by Jack Reesaber who puts it in! It's a tie game, 5-5. And Pioneer has a 2-goal run. That is a second goal by Jack Reesaber. And at 4:24, AUD Dakota with the assist. 4:24 left in a tie game. All set for the face-off whistle. Not sure what that was about. They now get back in face-off position as that ball loose, raked up by Thomas. Thomas heading down the numbers on the far wing. Thomas heads, trying to make a swim move into the offensive zone. Thomas lofts it. Fate has it back behind. Good job by Denson to knock away the pass. Denson fires it ahead, racing with it over midfield. Here comes Commute. Excuse me, is that Lodge? No, that is Commute. Jack Reesaber over to Lodge. Lodge fires it. That just goes wide. Karowski runs it out. That should be Pioneer ball. Karowski sends it over onto the far wing. Miller back into the midfield area. AUD Price with it. AUD Price coming over onto the far wing. Now over the restraining line, coming down. Sidearm, low shot, and grabbed by Balut. Balut back behind his goal, trying to avoid pressure from Lotch. Now bringing it down the far wing. Racing ahead with it is Page. Page with the long cross. Fires it onto the far wing. Fate with it there. Fate heads back into the midfield area. Gets that over to Stanton. Stanton between the hash marks. 5-5 is the score. 3:09 left to go. All around Huff. Knocked away. Good job by Houston. Now Conley trying to get to it. He gets put to the grass, trying to rake it up over there. Cal Greasaber trying to move it over. Now getting it is Garcia. Garcia over to Denson. Denson heads out of his crease. Denson coming down the hash marks on the far wing. Denson stops, trying to cut. As Denson lofts it ahead. Commutin gets it on a bounce. Commutin into the offensive zone. Takes a check. Commutin fires it out in front. Loose ball between the hash marks. Shot there as Balut knocks it away. Quickly the other direction. And over to Heath. Heath coming down the far hash marks, or near hash marks. Heath over midfield. Heath right to the restraining line, steps over it. Heath gets it over to Stanton. Stanton trying to work against Yang. Stanton trying to get his way between the hash marks. Shot there, knocked away. As closest to it is going to be Pioneer. Great job by Cal Greasaber to run that out. 2:02 left to go. 5-5 is our score. Pioneer has the ball in a 2-goal run. Ball over to Conley. Conley over the restraining line out of the defensive zone. That over to Houston. Houston lofts it ahead. AUD Price has it in the offensive zone. AUD Price on the numbers on the near wing. 1 minute, 38 seconds left to go. AUD Price steps back into the midfield area. AUD Price waiting for substitutions to come on. Miller in. AUD Price now racing down just outside the near hash marks. Flip back behind. Lotch with it. Lotch comes working her way around the crease, trying to fire it in between. Picked up that shot as AUD Price trying to quick get a shot away. Closest to it was Karowski. 1:16 left to go. Karowski in along the end line. Karowski trying to head all the way back. As that's fired over to Beaupre. Beaupre coming down the near hash marks to Beaupre. Even with the goal, now underneath the goal over to Lotch. 1 minute, 2 seconds left. Loose ball, trying to rake it up. AUD Price with it. 57 seconds left. Lotch has it. Lotch now on the far wing, underneath the goal line extended. Lotch spins with it, trying to shake himself free. Lotch, sidearm shot. That popped up high. Good save by Balut. Grabbed over by Lotch. 37 seconds left to go. 5-5 here in regulation. Lach racing ahead with it. Lach coming in, rising sidearm shot. That pops up all the way over. Run out by Miller. Pioneer with the ball, 25 seconds left. They would love to get a goal here. Miller heads towards the top of the offensive zone. Miller now back in the midfield area, gets it over to A.U.D. Price. A.U.D. Price steps over the restraining line. A.U.D. Price coming over onto the far wing, 11 seconds left, 10 seconds left. A.U.D. Price has it, trying to get between the hash marks, 7 seconds left. A.U.D. Price still trying to break free, 4 seconds left. Brown ball over onto the far wing, Saline has it, and that will do it for the fourth quarter.
Fans, now that today's match has ended in a tie, teams will have a 2-minute intermission, followed by a 4-minute overtime period.
So 2-minute intermission, 4-minute overtime period.
In a sudden victory format.
So it is a sudden victory golden goal format.
The match will continue with an additional 4-minute periods until the first team
So it will continue with 4-minute period upon 4-minute period until a team scores. So let's take a moment, play a little push on, and we will head into overtime. As a report, women's varsity lacrosse won their game today, so congratulations to them. They've been playing great recently, and appreciate that. We'll hopefully do our best to have another one of their games soon. Depends on how early I can get out of work on Monday. I'll keep my fingers crossed there. Let's play just a couple messages from the MHSAA, or just one now.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we head into overtime, sudden victory, 4 minutes on the clock. These draws are these face-offs are very, very important. Important the whole time, but especially now is German versus Thomas. That ball, trying to rake it up. German has it, popped up high. Still loose, trying to get to it. Commutin had it for a moment. Now German trying to rake it up on the near wing. He ends up down on the grass. There's going to be a whistle. As I believe Saline got the ball and called timeout. So now they'll try and draw something up. Again, sudden victory, golden goal at this point. As taking a look at the scoring, as in the first, it was Lach with a goal at 7:33. In the second, it was A.U.D. Price scoring at 3:59. And then in the third, it was Jack Griesaber with a goal at 10:13. And at that point, Pioneer had a 3-goal lead. Then Saline came back as it was a goal from Scarpati at 9:11 in the third. Then Oran Heff with a score at 6:11. Then at 24 seconds left in the third, it was a goal by Thomas, and we were all square at 3 apiece. Oran Heff with his second goal of the game in the fourth at 9:31. And then it was Heath who scored at 7:54 to go up 5-3. Pioneer answer back, Lach scoring at 7:11 to make it 5-4. Then 5-5 when Jack Griesaber scored at 4:24 left to go. Neither team able to score in that portion. Now Saline has the ball over on the near wing. Heath brings it ahead. Heath moves it over. Oran Heff, that loose, but He rakes it up. Moves it over onto the far wing to Stanton. Stanton coming down the numbers. Moves it back behind to Fate. Fate. Over onto the near wing. Sends that over to Scarpati. Scarpati. Whistle, and that's a Pioneer ball. So German will have it on the near wing. He heads out of the defensive zone over midfield. German racing down outside the numbers into the offensive zone. 3:22 left to go here in this first overtime period. Lodge with it back behind the goal. Lodge heading over. That ball loose. Lodge gets it back. Lodge over the goal line extended. Lodge coming in. Shot there. Oh, just missed. Jack Riesaber closest to it. That will stay Pioneer ball. 3:04 left to go here in the first overtime period. Next goal wins. Jack Riesaber. In along the end line. Jack Riesaber trying to go over the goal line extended. Shot there. Knocked down as that ball grabbed. Coming ahead with it is Saline, lofting it ahead. That picked up, heading into the offensive zone. Munson coming down. Lofts it over. Now Stanton gets it over on the near wing. Good save by Denson. Running it out is Pioneer. Cal Riesaber has it in along the end line. Cal Riesaber bringing it ahead. Oh, excuse me, that was a shot by Saline. Forgive me, I thought there was. That ball out. Run out with it is Scarpati. Scarpati has it on the end line. Scarpati. Even with the goal, flips it back behind over to Fate. Fate. Even with the goal, now above the goal line extended. Fate. Moves it back into the midfield area to Heath. Heath. Over on the far wing to Stanton. Stanton trying to work his way around Commutin. Stanton. Walled off there, now fires it back behind. Scarpati. Moves it. And over to Heath. Heath just over the restraining line. Heath coming down the far hash marks. Heath stops. Trying to head up. Houston trying to wall him off. Heath goes underneath the goal line extended. Denzin gets in the way of a pass. Denzin quickly out. That's grabbed by German. German racing over midfield. German heading down the numbers on the far wing into the offensive zone. German stops there. Timeout. Or nope, not sorry. Forgive me. And flip back over. Here comes A.U.D. Price. A.U.D. Price trying to work his way in. Shot there. Knocked down. Fired across as Saline has it running down onto the near wing. Launched all the way over. Scarpati has it just into the midfield area. Scarpati right out in front, turning, spinning, shot, save, Denzin. Over to get it is Conley. Conley launches it. Oh, just off the cross, out of bounds. That's Saline's ball. As Conley was in some trouble, tried to get it over to Denzin, and just out of his reach. Saline has it in along the near sideline. Scarpati moves it ahead to Oron Heff. Oron Heff cutting between the hash marks, spinning, coming down. Oron Heff launches it all the way back to Thomas. Thomas sidesteps coming down the far hash marks. Commutin trying to knock that away. Shot there. Out. Closest to it is Saline. They maintain possession. Fate with it. Over to Oron Heff. Oron Heff on the near wing. He'll come back into the midfield area. Oron Heff. And taking his time. 22 seconds left to go. Saline wants the last shot. Yang trying to get in front. That tip right back to Heath. Heath has it. Heath coming down the far hash marks. Heath puts on a burst of speed. Sidearm shot. Denzin with the good save. Ball back behind. Heath has it. Heath. 4 seconds left. Coming in. Shot over onto the near wing. Still loose. And we go to a second overtime.
overtime. Score remains tied at 5.
So the score remains
Another
tied.
2-minute break.
We will have a
Another
2-minute
4-minute
break,
overtime
switch
period.
directions, and we will continue with overtime.
Formats.
Again, it is a sudden victory as whichever team scores first will take the win.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting...
As we're going to go right to action here as they'll pull that 2 minutes a little short, face off. Thomas trying to get to it as German comes away with it. German coming down the numbers on the far wing into the offensive zone. German stops even with the goal on the far wing. German now heads back towards the goal line extended, underneath the goal line extended. German going from the near side to the far side. Now, over on the near wing, even with the goal, German fires it back over to Lotch. Lotch gets it over to Karowski. Karowski back over to Lotch. Lotch calling out signals. Next goal wins. Pioneer with possession. Lotch over the restraining line. Shot at a goal! Pioneer wins as Lotch has the hat trick. And the golden goal, Pioneer sweeps Saline 6-5. Pioneer wins in double overtime in an epic battle between these two teams. And at 3:09, Lotch puts it in. Final score 6-5. What an epic battle between these two squads. For my cameraman, James Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you for cheering whichever team you're cheering for. Thank you for supporting all these wonderful athletes. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.